Jumbo.
Jumbo.
Oh, it is good to sit. All through the week I have been walking, and I have been using my head. How many of you have ever heard the term, well, just use your head? Mm-hmm. That's a very good thing. Now, let me tell you a bit. You girls, you should be using your head. By the time a Malawian girl is about 4 years of age, guess what she is doing?
What?
Using her head. Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to figure that out.
She uses her head to carry things.
I seen you like putting the Bible up in your head. Like, what are you doing? I like. Is it part of the story?
It would be first to start out with maybe a stick that she would put upon her head to be able to learn to balance, to learn to walk with her back very straight, to make sure the stick did not fall off. I have seen young girls as they grow older, when they have been taught to be able to work in the garden and to use the kasu. For they go out early in the morning, they work in the garden. They don't carry the kasu in their hand. They put it on their head like this.
Dangerous.
And they can walk and it will stay there.
Oh wow.
Yes,
I can.
very surprising.
I can balance a book.
I have also seen the girls when they have gone with their mother to a store in the village and they buy a bottle of oil to be able to use for cooking. And it's a tall bottle, very small round bottle. They will put that on top of their head and carry that, and it will not fall off. They are very good for that. Now you boys, you must use your head. Here we see mostly the women are carrying things on their heads. And you notice, you look at how high that they can carry these. These women up at the top are carrying big, heavy clay pots. That's how they carry the water from the borehole or the pond or the stream or the river. They will fill that clay pot and they put it on their head, and they may walk a mile with that. But the men also carry water pots on their heads and other things they carry on their heads. It may be a bag of mealies. What is mealies, you say? It's cornmeal.
Oh yeah, I read that in the book.
They may carry a bag that weighs 50 kilos. You say, oh, what is this 50 kilos? 1 kilo is 2.2 pounds.
Ooh, that's
So 50 kilos is well over 100 pounds.
wow.
And they will put a bag of mealies upon their head. And they will walk with great ease, no difficulty to be able to walk. And they can talk, they enjoy conversations. Very nice to be able to use your head. I want to tell you about a very special friend of mine, Pastor Mubotu. Pastor Mubotu was a very, very dedicated African man. He was a Lozi pastor out in the far western province of Zambia. Pastor Mubotu had received a suit and a pair of shoes from a missionary. And he had worn them for years. And he was so thankful to have that. Every Sabbath he would be coming in his suit, so nicely dressed. And he would use his head for his shoes.
Huh?
No? I was hoping you would say, huh?
So
He would take his shoes off. He would take a handkerchief and tie the shoes together at his home. He would put it on his head, and he would carry his Bible, and he would walk barefooted to church, carrying his shoes on his head, because he wanted his shoes to be very special for going to church. And so when he would reach the front step of the church, he would take his shoes off of his head, undo his handkerchief, fold it up nicely, put it in his pocket. Then he would put his shoes on, and then he would go into Sabbath school and church. One more quick story about using your head. We had one very sweet man. He was troubled with a bad disease called leprosy.
Oh yeah, I heard about
You've heard about that. Leprosy causes things to be changing in the body to where you cannot feel. And so it is at times they may be sitting by a fire and trying to be warm and not realize that they have burnt their hand, or they have had their foot too close to the fire because they cannot feel it. And it will be burning, and soon they go, something is not right, something is burning, and they look down and find that their own foot is blistered because it has been burnt. This dear man, we called him our sweet singer. He had received through the years at our hospital at Yucca, many times we had surgery for him. First started with toes, and then we had to cut off some more of his foot. And so finally it was up to the knee that we had removed his leg. And so he used some homemade crutches, and that's how he would come. He had one foot, he had one shoe, and he would put that shoe also on his head. And as he would come to within about 100 yards of the church, he would start singing. He had a sweet tenor voice. He would be singing to the glory of God. And that shoe, that one shoe that he had, would be balanced there while he would be singing, limping along on his crutches. He was happy to come to Sabbath school and church. He didn't worry that he didn't have that leg, because he knew that someday when Jesus comes, that he would have everything new again. He wouldn't have to worry about carrying only one shoe on his head. He wouldn't have to worry about anything upon his head, because Jesus is going to do something that he's promised to do for all of us. Something that he wants us to use our head for. Can you guess what that is? He has promised that he will put a crown on our head. Everyone who says, Jesus, you are my best friend. I want to live like you. I want to love like you. I want others to know you. When we use our head to tell others and to be able to secure for them the encouragement of the joy of knowing using your head. Oh, no, we have others who have come in. I can add one other quick story that is not about using your head, but I guess it is using your head. Some time ago at our Rusungu mission, the boys in the dormitory they were laughing, having so much fun. Oh, they were laughing. And I went through the dormitory and I thought to myself, now why are these boys laughing so much? Are they thinking of some kind of mischief? Are they creating some type of a plan? And I thought, I will just step in and I will see. So I stepped in and they did not stop laughing. So I knew, they are not into any kind of mischief, to any kind of trouble. And I said, tell me what is so funny. Oh, you don't know this one. I said, no, I do not know. Will you tell me why it is so funny? And they looked at each other, they looked at me, they said, all right, we tell you the story. In villages, we don't have houses with toilets. Do you know what we do in villages? One of two things. We dig our own outhouse hole, we build a grass hut about it, and that becomes our toilet. We have no showers, no bathtubs, but that's what we use. But what about strangers that come to the village? People who are just going through? Well, the village will dig a slit trench, as it is called. A long trench, maybe about 6-8 feet long. Build a grass enclosure around that. No roof, but just a slit trench. And that is what is used for the toilet. You go in, you do your business, and you leave. Now, the boy said, oh, Buana, you know how it is in the village that we have our slit trench. I said, yes, I know, I have used them. He said, I don't remember the name of the village now, but at one of the villages, a woman went to be able to use the slit trench. And as she came in there and she looked into the slit trench, she screamed, and people from all of the huts around about came running. And she said, Nzoka, Nzoka, Nzoka. Nzoka means snake. She had seen a snake. So they looked about real quick. Where is it? She said, Moana Apa. Down there, look down there. In the slit trench was a cobra that had fallen into that slit trench. And the slit trench is usually about 6 feet deep. And so the cobra was having difficulty getting out. And he was slithering in all of that muck, all of that wall. And people stood around and they looked for a moment and he said, what shall we do? What shall we do? And some of the men said, we will take care of that. They pulled the grass fence down that was around it, and they came in, they looked closely into the slit trench. Sure it was. There was that cobra slithering, trying to get out. And some wise person went to use his head. I will take care of this problem. He ran over to a hut. He stopped at a fire pit there. He picked up a large stone, a nice big stone. He said to himself, I will be the hero today. I will kill Unzoka, Jaya Unzoka. Now he comes running back with this large stone. People see him coming with the stone, and they say, oh, yes, wise. Oh, very good, very good. Machito bueno. He carries this large stone. He comes up to the slit trench. He stands on the end of the slit trench, and he looks down, and he raises the stone up. And he's aiming very carefully. And he waits for the right time. And people stand back. They don't want to be hit in the head when he throws the stone. And so they stand back. And he aims and he throws the stone. And as soon as the stone leaves his hand, the people look in real quick. When you throw big stones into soft, muddy type stuff, what happens?
It splatters all over the place.
It splatters all over the place. And when people look in to see how well that stone has been thrown, they end up with the mark of not using their head. And so it is, my young friends, one of the best things to do throughout life is to use your head. And so you can see why those boys in the dormitory were laughing, because that was quite a story of how not to use your head. God bless you, and keep in your head the very stories of Jesus, who gave his crown in heaven to be able to wear a crown of thorns on his head, that you and I might be able to receive a crown on our head in the day that he comes again. God love you all, and God bless you.